What can the Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan feud over the last 30 years teach us about relationships with women? Succinctly, if you let people argue with emotion or ego, it's an argument that will never end. Debating with feelings or misremembering instead of facts holds you in that constant loop of ambiguity and never-ending arguments. So I normally consider myself more of a behaviorist enthusiast, if you would, but I do love me some cognitive psychology from time to time. In this case, the two overlap quite a bit. Cognitive appraisal theory states that how you interpret events can directly shape your emotional responses to the event. As psychologist Richard Lazarus, who pioneered the theory, explained, emotions are not automatic reflexes. They're shaped often by the meaning that you assign to a situation. That means that you have far more influence over your reactions than you think. It's like Pippen and Jordan. When both sides rely on memory and emotion rather than facts, the argument never ends. Without evidence, you're just trading stories until the louder one, or the more famous one, wins. And in relationships, the same thing happens. If you're not working from verifiable reality, you're often stuck in a battle of competing narratives. If she tells you that you've never supported her, although you've made her dinner, you've changed her flat tire, your emotional reaction may very well depend greatly on whether you accept her narrative or stop, appraise the situation, and bring facts as to what actually happened. And the longer it's been since the event, the worse it is. In terms of cognitive appraisal theory, it's the difference between a primary appraisal, which is her claim, and a reappraisal that's grounded in facts, which is your evidence. In relational conflict, you've got two options: to either let her emotional story set the stage, or to lead with facts that keep the discussion tethered to reality. Maybe she says that you've blown her off 3 weeks in a row, but your calendar says that you only rescheduled once, and even that time, you've done it with notice. Most men in that moment, they go quiet, they apologize, or they try to calm her down. But if you want to keep it all grounded in reality, use the primary premise of cognitive appraisal theory to your advantage by bringing receipts and keeping the conversation on what can be verified rather than inflated. Here's the trap. The second you switch from evidence-based discussions to debating her emotions and her foggy memory as a way to not hurt her feelings, you're regulating her emotional state rather than validating it with evidence. Your job in this moment is to anchor the discussion with evidence so it doesn't drift into exaggeration or fiction. And if that means saving every text message, every email, then so be it. Phone records, odometer readings, bank statements with dates, all of it. Especially if you've been together for a while and this is a recurring problem. Because in today's dating and relationship culture, you need all of it if you're going to bring facts. Cognitive appraisal also stops the emotional bait and switch. That's when she replaces reality with overreaction before it has a chance to escalate. So instead of being pulled into her storm, you're directing the conversation towards solid ground in growth, and genuine problem solving can then occur. My message is that women who are worth your time will respect that clarity, even if they don't enjoy hearing it in the moment. And women who can't handle it are never going to give you a fact-based relationship anyway. As late as 2024, researchers have emphasized that accurate interpretation of events, the very skill that cognitive appraisal theory trains you to sharpen, strengthens problem solving and prevents unnecessary relational damage. In your dating and relationships, that means facts don't just resolve arguments. They protect you from being labeled as a liar and cold-hearted prick. I know that this has been an issue for many of you who are watching. If you notice that this emotional hijacking is happening, but you think she's willing to actually hear the truth, consider telling her something like, "You said that I always ignore you, but I initiated 7 of our past 10 phone calls, and I responded to all of your text messages last week within 30 minutes, even if I was at work. If we're going to be together, I need you to focus on facts rather than emotional pandering. Is that clear? But if you've tried and tried again and you reach the point where the truth clearly does not matter to her, you could be more direct and tell her, we've had too many arguments that revolve around emotion and exaggeration. I continue to come up with receipts. I'm no longer willing to continue. I'm going to go find a woman who appreciates and acknowledges my diligence. And let it go. So the choice is simple. You either argue with her reality by way of emotion, or you set the expectation that truth comes first. Please do not let your relationship turn into a Jordan-Pippen standoff. Bring facts over ego, set the standard for truth, and she'll either come to understand or you leave her all to her own sob story all by herself. So gentlemen, if this video was helpful, please be sure to subscribe and leave a comment for us to have a discussion, and I'll see you in the next one.